Putting ourselves out there is just something we have to do in this day and age to actually achieve whatever it is we want to achieve, whether it's to get a job, to start a side hustle, any of that. But most of us, including myself, are afraid of literally that, putting ourselves out there. Maybe not literally, but putting ourselves out there. And today we're going to talk about some ideas how you can overcome that. What's up, SE Nation? Ramsey Marjaba here. So, just so we're clear, I am not a psychologist. I am someone who enjoys to talk about sales engineering, enjoys talking about sales engineering. I think it's a great career, and I also enjoy talking about side hustles. But I became a sales engineer back in 2014, and for a year and a half, I didn't know what I was doing. Some would argue that I still don't know. I think I've used that joke before. Anyways, I didn't know what I was doing. So I had to figure out ways to know what I'm doing, and there weren't any resources out there. Many of you have heard me tell the stories before. So I had to go start a podcast, which it was a terrifying thing to do. Basically, you're telling the world, at least that's how I saw me starting the podcast. I'm telling the world, I don't know what I'm doing. Come help me. Obviously, I didn't word it that way, but it felt like that. So I had a big fear of doing that. And now I'm also doing AWS, and I'm telling the world, I'm not very good at that. Maybe not come and help me, but I'm not very good at that, and I'm trying to learn. And just so we're clear, I'm not doing that because it's fun. I don't enjoy putting myself out there. Many of you already know I'm an introvert. I don't like doing this. This is awkward. I am literally talking to a lens, and it's hard not to look at myself in the camera. But anyways, it is difficult. It's not easy, because some people would say, Ramsey, you've been doing this for a long time. Every time I turn on the camera, it's awkward. It doesn't get easier. And every time I want to post a video, I think to myself, is this even good? Is this useful for anybody? So if you do want to tell me that it's useful, make sure you like and subscribe, but that's not where I was going. It just went there. Bottom line is, if we want to achieve anything in this life, in the world we live in today, or even in the previous world, we have to put ourselves out there. In the previous world, you had to put yourself out there by going to meetups and doing things in person. I would argue that today it's much easier. The reason I'm sharing this story with you is maybe it will help you do the same thing. There are reasons to do this, but I cannot tell you what those reasons are for you. My reasons for starting We The SEs is because I felt that I was really bad at sales engineering. I wasn't worried about my job or anything, but I personally don't like the feeling of sucking, because I've always been good at stuff, and I was never excellent. I was never the best, but I was damn good. And I would work my behind off, and all of a sudden, I do end up being one of the best, if not the best. But that's not the way I do things. I do things to be the best that I can be. So I worked very hard to get to where I am. And I'm a sales engineer now that's bad at his job. And that's not a good feeling. I want to make sure that we're starting a family. We had a family at that point. We had our first child in 2015. So a year after I started as a sales engineer. I want my son to be proud of me. I want him to be secure in his life. My why is I want to be good, and I want to take care of my family. That's always been my why. So I started We The SEs to be good. My why for We The Sales Engineers was to get better at sales engineering. I keep doing We The Sales Engineers for a totally different reason, because now I am very good as a sales engineer. But now I can help other people. So my why has changed from helping myself to helping others. That's why I keep doing it. So whys can change. So that's, I guess, the first thought exercise that I would ask you to do if you are afraid of putting yourself out there is, why do you even want to? If you have no reason, then maybe you shouldn't. I mean, there is no reason. If you have no reason, you wouldn't to begin with. If you don't have a good enough reason, you might start and then stop. So what is a good why? What is a consistent why that's beyond you? Making money is sometimes a good why. But making money for the sake of making money is not always worth the amount of work you put in. The second thought exercise I would ask you to do is go for the no's. I mean, plan, in other words, plan to be rejected. When I first started the SE Hotline, which is a service that you can have access to if you want to get better as a sales engineer, or you're even looking to break into sales engineering, that's where we have a great group of people working together to improve. If you're interested, make sure you book some time with me and we can discuss that in the link below. But when I started We The SEs, my goal was to get 10 no's. I was reaching out to people with the expectation of them saying no to me. Because if I have the expectation of them saying yes, and then they say no, I am kind of devastated. I am a sensitive person. I don't know if you can tell. I'm very sensitive. I am. But okay. Yeah, I was sensitive. Now I've been a sales engineer for a while to have learned not to be so sensitive. But anyways, that's besides the point. The fact that I actually went for the no's, went for the rejections, that was my goal. It made it easier for me. When I first started We The Sales Engineers, I would invite people to be on the podcast. I went for my friends initially, and then I went for a lot of no's. Most of them said yes, and that made me very happy. I mean, I still don't know why some of them did it, like John Kerr. Why did he say yes to begin with? He was on episode 18. I wasn't famous or I wasn't known or anything like that. I'm still not famous, luckily. But I wasn't known in the SE industry, so why would he say yes? But that's why when I went for a no and he said yes, I was on cloud number 9. I didn't see that one coming. I went for Jocko Willink. If anyone knows how to get him on the show, I actually emailed Jocko Willink to see if he'd be on the podcast to talk about leadership. Never heard back. So if you go for the no's and you expect the no's, it makes your life easier. And when you hear a yes, it makes it so much sweeter. The third thought exercise that I do is, which is worse, this or the alternative? As in, my current state, is it worse than me actually putting myself out there? When I first started as a sales engineer, I could tell that it was way worse to actually not go out there and try to get better as a sales engineer, because I didn't know what I was doing. I was afraid. I was more afraid of sucking as a sales engineer than I was putting myself out there. The alternative of not putting myself out there was way worse, because I'd probably be out of the job right now. I'd probably be fired or burnt out because I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea how to deal with account managers, any of that. What is the alternative? Is your alternative worse than today? If it's worse, if putting yourself out there is worse than you staying where you are today, then don't put yourself out there. But in most cases, it's not. Right? And the worst that could happen is that they say no. Right? You're looking for an SE job. You're connecting with other SEs. You get 100 no's. You are no worse than where you were yesterday. Right? As a matter of fact, you're a little bit closer to the yes, because now you know you need to reach out to the other 100 to get one yes. It's easy to say don't be afraid of putting yourself out there. So I would just say, be afraid of staying put. Putting yourself out there is far less scary than if you're out of a job right now and you need to feed your family and you don't have the money. Putting yourself out there is far less scary than knowing that you're bad at your job and you don't do anything about it. I just wanted to share that with you. I hope you found this useful. I hope you actually use it, if you found it useful, to overcome whatever challenges that you're overcoming today. I mean, I just read The Obstacle is the Way. I listened to it. And it was a great book. And what I got from it is, if there's an obstacle, there's an opportunity. If you're out of a job and looking for a job, or if you're in a job and looking for another job, the obstacle is getting the job, but there's an opportunity for you to learn how to get the next job. Because once you learn how to do it once, you can repeat it. You might have to modify, but you can repeat. So that's it for today. Again, I'm gonna remind you to like, share, and subscribe if that's what you want to do, because this is YouTube after all. But also, if you're looking for help, if you're looking to improve in your sales engineering career, if you're like me and feel like you either don't know what you're doing or you know what you're doing but you want to get better, check out the SE Hotline. Reach out. I am happy to help. I'm happy to coach you, work with you, help you improve. That's it for today. It is Saturday, so don't get back to work. Peace.